Hello, everybody. It's Monday, although I guess you could be watching this any day over the course of the rest of humanity. And maybe it would have happened to fall on a Monday. But we're back here discussing the Las Vegas Raiders yet again. And I know some people are thinking, it's going to be a slow time for this channel. Here's where you're wrong. Last year, let me actually hold on. A little history lesson before I get into the topics here. And we're going to talk about Tom Brady and something he specifically did. It's an ALLaBorde insider report that makes me so happy to see how he is handling and portraying himself within the organization. And then we're going to talk about a little bit of concern maybe on the offensive line going into OTAs here, or going into training camp or minicamp or whatever's coming up in a little bit here. Little history lesson on me. I work at a school, and I'm going to do a separate video on this, actually. It's going to be like a big subscriber thank you to everybody who's got me to this point, because I think this time last year we were like not even close to like 7,000 subscribers, and now we're at almost 13, which is insane. By the way, hit that subscribe button if you're new. I work at an elementary school / middle school during the day, and then at night I do this. Now, that job is over for right now because the summer is upon us. And this time last year, I had another job lined up, but instead I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a video a day in June, and we're going to see how much I can push this channel. And since then, we've grown exponentially. So I say that to say to you, just because the summer dog days of no news or no info is hitting us doesn't mean this channel's slowing down at all. So if you want to get constant videos like this, hit subscribe. But when I say I'm going to make a separate video about this, I do want to mention it in this one. I am not getting a job this summer to focus on this full time. And then when the school year comes around, I will be no longer working at the school. I'm going to try to do this and Bleacher Report as my full-time job. So I'm essentially quitting my job for you guys. And I'm not saying like, oh, I finally have this channel at a position to be able to make money so much so that I can quit my job. It's going to be like I can make enough money to survive off of this, but I want to push this to its limits and to its boundaries and make videos for you guys, because this is what I want to do. So this is what's going to be my full-time position here, just in my life. So the least you can do if you want to help me grow this thing is hit that like button, drop comments, and survive. But also, if you want to support even further and ensure that I never have to go back to that day job, and again, I'm going to make a separate video on this, you could join the Patreon, patreon.com/ALLaBorde Raiders. Here are the tiers right here. Here's everything that you get. The Discord access is actually free. Don't even worry about that. That's linked in the description of every single video. With a $5 tier, you get behind-the-scenes content. You get work-in-progress digital updates, early video access, executive producer credits at the end of every one of my videos. You also get a YouTube membership kind of exclusive series for the $10 tier, and everything I post ad-free. If we go to the home section here, this is kind of what it looks like. It looks like YouTube, but this is all the ad-free content, exclusive content, and videos that I all post days in advance. And also, I'm teasing this. There's going to be an exclusive series of videos, probably 17 or 18 videos that are exclusively going to be on Patreon. So I'm just saying, if you want to support the channel, make sure I never have to go back to that day job. That's how you do it. Patreon.com/ALLaBorde, link in the description below. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk a little Tom Brady. Now, there is an article here from ALLaBorde, and we're going to get into it, right? We're going to get into it. But before I get into that specifically, I want to give my little take and a little history lesson on Tom Brady joining the Raiders. Because when he joined initially, let's just call a spade a spade. I would say most of the Raider fans, at least the ones that are online and like to share their opinions, were not happy with it. Oh, it's the Tuck rule. Oh, he's a Patriot. Oh, he's not a true Raider, blah, 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 blah. From day one, I've said, this guy is going to be one of the best things to happen to this organization if he understands that he needs to hire people, put them in positions to succeed, and then kind of interject when he's supposed to. But he's going to give this organization a level of credibility that we have not had in 40 years. And, over time, with Brady in the building, people have slowly come around to the idea that he is good for the organization. And now I think most people are on board with it. I'm sure you're still going to get some people that think, oh, I don't care what he does. He's not all right. It's ridiculous. It's time to grow up and move on. My biggest concern with Tom, and I've said this, is that he might be willing to throw his weight around if he thinks he knows more than the general manager or the head coach, right? And say, look, I'm Tom Brady. I've got 7 Super Bowl rings. You need to do what I say. That was my biggest concern with Tom. And when the Shedeur Sanders thing happened, I proposed the theory that maybe he's not doing that. And some people said, well, just because we didn't take Shedeur Sanders doesn't mean he's not throwing his weight around. Smash cut to the ALLaBorde report. Now, I'm going to get into this and read a little bit, and then we're going to talk about everything that Brady's done to help us get to where we are today. So we're good here? Yep, we're good here. Okay. Tom Brady and the Raiders. This is ALLaBorde, one of the most trusted people in all of football. Tom Brady's involvement in Las Vegas is interesting and shows how tactful he's being. New Las Vegas Raiders coach Pete Carroll acknowledged this in comments he made last week to Mike Salk and Brock Hard on Seattle radio. We're phone buddies, Carroll said. He hasn't been out here but one time since we've been here, but we've talked a ton. Talking philosophy with Tom, you can imagine what a thrill it's been because he's an all-time competitor. It's not just how he played, it's how he lived and how he sees the world and how he attacks every opportunity he has. We're so eye to eye on that. It's been a blast. It's been really fun. The challenge of it is to bring the mentality and correct it to our entire franchise. All right, so the first question a lot of people have is why Brady, with his endless resources, wouldn't be around more. And this is the key right here. This is the breakdown I wanted to talk about. The one time he came through was ahead of the acquisition of Geno Smith in March, where his input was valuable for obvious reasons. Like Carroll said, other than that, Brady has been working remote as minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, and that's been intentional. As I understand it, and here it is, Brady is cognizant of how his mere presence can take the oxygen out of whatever room he's in. So to empower Carroll and general manager John Spytek, whom Brady was with in Tampa, he's tried to make himself physically scarce, staying back in South Florida, where he and 2 of his children reside. Do you understand how self-aware and important that is? He totally gets that his mere presence, as ALLaBorde so eloquently puts it, can detract and take away from the authority of the general manager and the head coach and the scouting department. It doesn't matter how good me or you are at our jobs. If somebody of that level that's working within the organization walks into the room, even if he says explicitly, don't worry, I'm not here, I'm here to observe, do your thing. It's going to be hard for me or you to flip off that mental switch of Brady's here, Brady's here, Brady's here, and give my honest opinion without deferring to the greatest player in the history of planet Earth. And Tom Brady's so aware of that he's removing himself physically from the situations to make sure that these guys can do their jobs, which is the opposite of what a Josh McDaniels would do, which is the opposite of what a John Gruden would do, which is the opposite of really what an Al Davis would do. But he's always available. He's a phone call. He's a Zoom meeting away. Which, God, that just makes me so happy. That makes me so, so happy. That said, he has made his impact in a couple of different ways. Brady has promised to coaching candidates in January that with the presence of his fellow limited partners, whom he had helped bring in, would materially change how the traditional cash poor Raiders would operate. With Brady's business partner Tom Wagner, Silver Lake CEO and Manchester board member Egon Durbin, and Discovery Land founder Michael Meldman in the fold, the Raiders have delivered on that, maybe the most notably in paying $6 million per year to offensive coordinator Chip Kelly, prying him away from Ohio State. Then there's what Kara referenced in setting organizational identity. It's well established that Brady's priority would be bringing in players of high football character who have that kind of competitive edge and work ethic that Brady did. That meshes with Kara and Spytek's beliefs, which helps color the decision to hire them. It was all over the Raiders draft class. So no, Brady's not there every day, but his presence is. I mean, I love this, man. How could you not love this? Any concerns I had of Brady throwing his throwing his weight around is out the window. But there's also a balance with that, and it showed the impact that he's already had. He's turned the Raiders from, a team that has been looked down upon as somebody who might not spend the most money to acquire talent, not football-wise, because there's a salary cap and everybody spends the same amount of money, but of extending players and of making sure we get the coaching staff and the scouting department on board and spend a lot of money in those areas. He was the reason why Ben Johnson interviewed with us. He's probably the reason why Pete Carroll was so ecstatic and so eager to take the job. There was probably a reason why Geno Smith was like, let's go play with Pete Carroll. It's because Tom Brady was like, hey, Geno, come on with me. You can be the quarterback of the future here for the foreseeable future. Tom Brady, like it or not, Raider fans, has been maybe the best thing that happened to this organization in a long, long time. And any concerns that he was going to be a Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson type, he has been hands-on when he's need to be to ensure people, hey, man, this is an organization you want to work with. But he's been hands-off in terms of his presence being felt in a negative way. And I couldn't be happier about that. So, look, we're going to move on to an article from Just Blog Baby here. It says, Raiders are staring down a potential disaster as week one of OTAs wrap up. We'll see if I agree or disagree with that. But before we do, I just wanted to let you know that about 45 to 46.5% of the people watching this video are not yet subscribed. We're trying to get to 13,000 before the new league year. If you could hit that subscribe button, it would be massive for the brand, for the channel, for my life. It would really just help a lot. Also, make sure you turn those notifications on, click that bell, and have YouTube notifications enabled on your phone so you get videos notified when I go live immediately. And also shout out to my patrons. These are the patrons that have that executive producer credit who will get that exclusive 18-ish video series. I guess I just gave away what that would be by saying the number, but only time will tell if people sign up for that. If you want your name at the end of the credits and all those benefits, join that $5 tier in Patreon, on Patreon, patreon.com/ALLaBorde Raiders. And then also, linked in every video that I post, there's a link to my Discord. There's like 165 people in there. It's always active, talking about different things. That's completely free. It's linked in the description of every single video that I make. Okay. Like I said, Raiders are staring down potential disaster. Let's see what Levi's got to say. First of all, the Las Vegas Raiders' shortcomings during the 2024 season. For all of the shortcomings, their offensive line was surprisingly strong. Anchored by a mixture of veteran players, rookies, and unproven commodities, the Silver and Black boys up front were the least of the team's concerns. New general manager John Spytek and head coach Pete Carroll displayed confidence in that group, who they passed on a slew of offensive linemen in both the early part of the 2025 NFL draft and that free agency period. That is kind of true. This means that things were expected to remain relatively the same in Las Vegas. The Raiders ended up adding several mid-round picks and cheap veteran additions, but those players were thought to be depth pieces. Raiders are staring down a potential disaster on the offensive line. Unfortunately, things seem to be panning out a different way in OTAs. The Athletics' Deshaun Reed reported that new free agent addition Alex Kappa, who Raider Nation had mixed opinions on, is essentially a shoo-in to start at right guard. There's an ongoing competition at left guard. I just wanted to make sure I'm actually... Okay, yeah. Okay. Reed wrote, left tackle Colton Miller, center JPJ, right guard Alex Kappa, and right tackle DJ Glaze seem to be locked into those starting spots. I love that Glaze is locked into right tackle. I love that so much. But Parham and Jordan Meredith rotated at left guard throughout practice. While Kappa was certainly a good player at the beginning of his career and a pivotal part of the Buccaneers' Super Bowl victory, those days are long gone. After peaking with a 71.3 PFF grade in 2021 for Tampa Bay, he has been on a steady decline since. Last season, he recorded a 50.5 overall grade for the Bengals, and his pass blocking earned only a 39.7. That indicates 4 contests where his pass block grade was at 25 or below, and 2 contests at 10% or below. By comparison, Jordan Meredith earned an 80% grade, 75 in pass blocking. Dylan Parmer, 74% grade, 65 in pass protection. The most important aspects of these numbers is that they are the best marks of their young career. So these 2 players are still improving while Kappa is on the downslope. The Raiders may feel pressure to play Kappa because of the 2-year, $11 million deal they gave him earlier in the offseason. However, Carroll has promised that there will be an open competition the best players will play. Fortunately, the offseason is long, so it stands to reason that these 2 players will outcompete Kappa for the starting right guard role. If not, it may be a disaster in the waiting for the Silver and Black. Okay. I think disaster is a little strong, Levi. We love what you do at Just Blog Baby, but here's my take on the situation. If they think Alex Kappa is the best option at right guard, he will play. if they think they should go Jordan Meredith or Charles Grant or Caleb Rogers or Dylan Parham. That's who they're going to go with. Dylan Parham? No, wait. Jordan Meredith or who's the other guy? I already forgot. Dylan Parham. Yeah, Dylan Parham. Okay. Right, because it's going to be JPJ. Yeah, got it. If they need to start two of those guys, they will. Pete Carroll has proven, it's one thing for like Josh McDaniels, again, just because I love taking shots at this clown. It's one thing for him to say something and for you to be like, I don't know. You have a track record that says otherwise. Pete Carroll has proven, like, if Russell Wilson's better than Matt Flynn or Tavares Jackson, he'll play him. Does not matter. And if he could do that with the quarterback position, he damn well do it with a right guard. He doesn't care if you are making $11 million. I'll tell you right now, if Cam Miller or Aiden O'Connell blows the doors off this thing and Geno Smith stinks, Geno Smith is not going to start. Pete Carroll does not have time to mess around. He said as much. This is not going to be a rebuild. We're trying to win games right now and flip the culture on its head right now. So is the offensive line an area of concern? I don't think so. I think it's going to be solid. I think it's going to be better than it was last year because JPJ and DJ Glaze, who were very good rookies for us last year, are going to be even better this year because they have better coaching, right? Especially offensive line-wise and offensive coordinator-wise. And they've just got another year under their belt, another year of a healthy offseason where they can train, they can learn the ways of Chip Kelly's system, and now they've got legit running backs back there and a legit quarterback to, make sure he's not running into sacks. Like Gardner Minshew would run into sacks. Aiden O'Connell would scramble out of sacks, but he's limited in his mobility. Geno Smith is going to make this offensive line. Look, here's my prediction. Here's one of my bold predictions. This is going to be a top 10 offensive line in 2025 because I think it could have been like a top 15-ish offensive line last year, and maybe it even was on paper. I'm sure it was like the mid-teens to late teens. Our quarterback play and our running back play made it look way worse than it was. I think this is going to be a top 10 offensive line this year, and I think disaster is a little bit hyperbolic. So, what are your guys' takes on my takes? Do you like the idea that Tom Brady isn't there? Would you like to have him throw his weight around a little bit more and be more of a presence? I think he's handling it perfectly so far. And what are your concerns on the offensive line? And give me your offensive line starting five predictions. Like I said, I'm going to be doing this more full-time as I phase out of my day job area. If I have to go back, then I will, and it is what it is. But if you could sign up for that Patreon, it would help tremendously. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like button. It helps a lot. Comment away. And please be sure to subscribe. It's free after on no charge to you. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.